All right. Hi, everybody, and thank you for having me here today. My name is Mary Jean Amon, and I'm an assistant professor in UCF's School of Modeling, Simulation, and Training. And I'll be discussing my research program. Specifically, I'll outline my approach of analyzing nonlinear dynamics from multiple sensor streams to predict human performance in socio-technical environments. So I study humans as complex systems whereby our behavior is always constituted of numerous interacting processes. Those parts can be internal to us or external to us, and it's the interactions of those parts that give rise to emergent patterns of behavior. Internal processes such as affective, behavioral, cognitive, and physiological states interact to support performance. And oftentimes we're carrying out tasks in complex environments where we are interacting with components external to ourselves, such as tools and other people. Many socio-technical systems can be classified as complex because, put simply, the component parts, people and instruments, interact to a high degree, giving rise to a global behavior that's not reducible to its individual parts. The complexity of human behavior, of course, is creating major challenges for researchers. Complex socio-technical systems are intrinsically difficult to measure and analyze due to dependencies, competitions, relationships, and other types of interactions between the system parts or between a system and its environment. However, because of advances in technologies that allow for the simultaneous measure of multiple real-time behaviors, we have increased access to the variety of processes that support human performance. For the purposes of today's talk, I'll use the term multimodal to describe instances where multiple data streams are being measured and analyzed. Human behavior research is increasingly becoming a type of large data enterprise where we're able to collect rich information about numerous people and modalities all at once. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that many of you in here have your own lab spaces or easy access to sensory suites yourself. I've spoken with researchers who have incredibly rich data sets, but they note they experience significant challenges in capturing and combining different features or data streams. This is certainly a general problem for human behavior researchers to have, that is, capturing the natural complexity of human behavior while also creating comprehensible models that facilitate understanding. Nonlinear dynamical systems theory, or NDST, provides concepts and methods to describe the dynamic, multimodal, and complex nature of many human behaviors. Oftentimes, people think of complex systems theory as the theory, and NDST as providing the methods to understand or accompany complex systems theory. Because NDST is often used to identify patterns of behavior as it unfolds over time, this method of analysis is often used with intensive longitudinal data, such as data derived from sensors or from many repeated observations like those drawn from large-scale social media data. In addition to being able to capture continuously changing phenomenon, NDST can be used to examine distinct qualitative shifts in behavior. For example, the decision to continue to use versus suddenly exit out of a potentially harmful phishing website. NDST also bypasses many of the assumptions of more traditional linear frameworks, especially assumptions of normality, stationarity, and independence of components. That means that NDST can be applied to a wide range of phenomenon without too much concern about violating statistical assumptions. Below is one example of an NDST approach where I condensed 7 data streams drawn from teams into indices of team-level patterns and sequences that predicted their subsequent performance. NDST is not a one-size-fits-all solution to the general issues facing the modeling community, but it continues to be a rapidly developing area that offers many statistical tools for quantifying complex multimodal behavior. Thus, I apply complex systems theory and methods of NDST to study socio-technical systems where people are interacting with technology and often other people as they learn, make decisions, or perform other sorts of cognitive tasks. Next, I'll discuss several example research contributions. First, I've leveraged low-level real-time measures of team activity, such as speech rate, body movement, and user interface motion, to predict teams' collaborative problem-solving performance in 10-second windows. I also have work tying team members' collective eye gaze to predict their team performance with a high degree of accuracy. In doing so, I have demonstrated that multimodal indices of team behavior are often more predictive of team outcomes than traditional linear or unimodal approaches. Overall, this work, forwarding near real-time detection of team performance, is necessary for advancing next-generation intelligent tutoring systems. I have also worked with smartwatch data, collecting data from around 500 information workers from across the United States for up to 2 months. In doing so, I forwarded a new metric of multimodal health routineness that represented the collective routineness of participants' heart rate variability, which was our measure of stress, sleep duration, and step count as our measure of physical activity. This metric of multimodal health routineness was associated with greater neuroticism and stress, as well as reduced agreeableness and workplace outcomes. In other words, people who were too routine in terms of their multimodal health behaviors were at a disadvantage in terms of their personal well-being and work outcomes. Notably, the Multimodal Health Routineness Index was predictive over and above more traditional measures of health behaviors. I am also applying my specialization in nonlinear dynamics to the study of intergroup radicalization in social media, or how people become more or less prejudiced against outgroup members, especially women and underrepresented minority groups. Thus far, I've demonstrated that radicalized users do indeed show distinct multimodal trajectories as compared to non-radicalized users. This provides enhanced opportunities for early detection, prediction, and targeted intervention. A good portion of my current research centers on studying interdependent privacy violations, or instances when social media users share other people's potentially sensitive photos or information without permission. I have shown across studies that privacy nudges backfire to increase sharing of other people's private information. Findings also include that there are distinct user clusters who differ in their interdependent privacy preferences and behaviors. My research team is currently empirically testing interdependent privacy interventions, which I anticipate will lead to the deployment of a large-scale user-oriented intervention program. Across studies, this work is supported by an interdisciplinary perspective, leveraging advances in psychology and cognitive science, computer science, especially concepts from security and privacy, and data science. My research program is supported by collaborations with researchers from engineering, computer science, hospitality, psychology, and learning sciences. And it's through these collaborations that my research groups are able to tackle large-scale issues that increase impact. Overall, I'm invested in pursuing big ideas geared toward enhancing well-being, whether in terms of advancing interactive tutoring systems, wearables for well-being, preventing intergroup radicalization, or supporting interdependent privacy in social media. I'd like to say a special thank you to faculty collaborators and students in my lab who are truly great team members. I'm also grateful for my current funding, which provides student support and increased means for pursuing innovative new directions in research. Thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to hearing your questions and comments.